All right, hopefully you enjoyed that nice brain break video about spider silk. I think it's pretty cool, but we're going to focus in now on enzymes, and this is getting to be a little bit more on a more chemical, molecular level, but enzymes are pretty cool. Enzymes are a protein-based substance that causes a speed up in a chemical reaction in living organisms. They speed things up. We rely on enzymes to function and reproduce. For example, amylase enzymes exist in our saliva, and other enzymes exist in the gastric and pancreatic acids in our digestive tract. So the minute that you go ahead and you eat something, and I'm looking around, I have some candy right here. Okay, I'm gonna open up this Laffy Taffy here because Mr. Ramsden needs a snack. But so the minute I put this Laffy Taffy in my mouth, don't mind me, I'm going to be kind of talking and chewing at the same time. My saliva is already working at breaking down this Laffy Taffy, right? There is specific enzyme in there called amylase that helps break down this Laffy Taffy so that it's starting to break down before I even swallow it. And then once it gets into my stomach, additional enzymes are going to help facilitate breaking it down even further. So we have mechanical digestion, which is me chewing with my teeth, and then chemical digestion, which is occurring by my amylase and by the other enzymes that are located within my body. Enzymes also change sugars, starches, and proteins and nutrients into a form that they can be absorbed by the body and converted to be used as energy or cell replacement. So the enzyme in this diagram over here is this green part. There's a specific substrate that fits onto the top of the enzyme to help catalyze or speed up the reaction. Humans have used enzymes to help prepare and preserve foods, and an example that I love talking about is cheese. Cheese was discovered in the Middle East by a man storing milk in the pouch made from the stomach of a calf. This pouch was simply hung over the saddle of a camel and taken on a journey. And with the warm temperatures and the sloshing action of the liquid, cheese was the result after their long journey. So what happened there? Rennin is very important to consider, and rennin was one of the key byproducts of that reaction in that initial cheese making process. Rennin causes milk to coagulate in the stomach of a young milk, and it speeds up the process of separating solids and liquids. The two key byproducts of rennin then are curds and whey. Curds are the solids that result from cheese production, and whey are the liquids resulting from cheese production. So over to the diagram on the right, we see our curds, which is that solid white brick. And then we have our whey, which is the more liquidy substance that is left behind. We are able to stray out the curds from the whey, and we're able to use the curds for eating, obviously, and the whey we can further process and make it into a protein available. So if you ever work out and you have a protein shake, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a whey-based shake, which is a dairy product. So enzymes in rennin were identified and isolated, and most important was chymosin. And this is a bacteria or fungi that clots milk and protein to make cheese. So this transfers genes into the genomes of bacteria and yeast, and genetically engineered microorganisms are grown in large tanks with regulated growth conditions to help produce cheese on a more commercial level. The resulting enzymes are then collected and purified. Most of the cheese within the United States is made using enzymes of genetically engineered microorganisms. So this diagram does a really nice job explaining how chymosin is made by genetically modified yeast. So first we have our calf and a sample of cells, and this gene is then inserted into a plasmid, and then this forms our modified yeast cells. I'm going to include this video for you all to watch. It's called A Brief History of Cheese, or a BRI, Brief History of Cheese, and you're gonna take a look at that. And it's pretty interesting. Talk about the history of how cheese has evolved. You might learn a couple of pretty fun things in there. I know when I watched it, when I was putting together this PowerPoint slide last school year, I thought it was pretty darn interesting. So go ahead and take a look at it. No need to take notes or anything, but just thought it was kind of a fun little anecdote to include here in this lesson.